What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Fan Awakens. We're here for episode 5 spoiler review discussion. I'm here with my partner, my friend, ParadeReigner. How you doing, my man?
Good to be here, Eli. It is a wonderful Andor review day. I'm so excited to get into it with you.
Thank you for being here. I will say, it is great just having Star Wars being back as a weekly thing to look forward to. Because it's been so
Definitely.
long since we had Star Wars in the movie theaters. At least give us some Disney Plus content. I'm happy. We have a lot going forward. We're kind of clear through the end of the year.
Yeah, it's great. It feels like feast or famine, even though we get a lot. I could always use more.
No, for sure. And we did get more. We did get more.
We
So
did.
Andor episode 5 came out. We've seen it. I just rewatched it and some interesting things. Not what I expected. Um, you know,
Same.
we talked about last week how we were anticipating in this next episode, we're probably going to we got to get that Mon Mothma dinner and we got
Yeah,
to get this mission.
we gotta get this
N-
heist going.
Neither of those happened.
No, way off.
Yeah, so
But
yeah.
but we did anticipate 3 episode arcs. So to have a dinner and the heist in this next one didn't really go to the 3 episode arcs thing. So I'm glad we are getting 3 episode arcs because now we're headed to the climax right in this third one. So
And that's a good thing to point out because I think that helps with expectations also. Because
right.
now going forward, if it's happened 2 times, with these first 6 episodes, it's fairly seems safe to assume that the next 3 episodes after episode 6 are also going to be an arc, and then the three after that. So at least it
Correct.
does give us, whatever they say, we see the battle, the heist, and the dinner in episode 6. Whatever happens in episode 7, I think that we could probably assume is going to come to a sort of pinnacle in episode what 9? Yeah.
9, yeah. That's gonna be crazy. The last 25% of this season, I'm anticipating a lot going down, just the trajectory of this show. Uh, do you mind if we start out with the rankings? How do you?
Ah.
What would you give this episode? Episode 5.
Mm,
I think we talked about last week. We were around nines, eight and a halfs, nines
yeah. Yeah.
for
So
both of us. So
thinking of it as again, so episode 4 is still my favorite. I'll say that. Um,
yes, I think that I agree as well for me.
this episode I enjoyed every minute of it, and I've seen it 3 times now.
Nice.
Almost every minute of it, almost. But I I think I don't know. It does feel a bit. I don't want to call it filler, but whereas I still enjoyed all the conversation and dialogue happening, I felt like
Yeah.
we didn't necessarily take the characters any place that they hadn't been yet. Uh, because like I already know they don't trust Cassian, and now it's just more
Right.
of them not trusting Cassian. Um,
Right.
and then maybe there things were laid out. He told him why he's there. Things
Right.
like that. We got some new juicy stuff. I would probably give this episode. Um, I'd probably give it a 7. I think it's my least favorite episode so far,
Oh,
but I don't
okay.
dislike it. No, that's not
Right.
fair. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 because
7.5.
I
Okay.
I've seen it 3 times and I enjoyed watching it three
Sure.
times. Like
Okay. Yeah.
so, I would give it a 7.5. I'm giving it a
I
seven and
like
a half.
that. I
Yeah,
like that. I think I would rank it as an 8. I
yeah,
think I still like it more than the first 3 episodes, but not as much as the 4th.
yeah.
Um, for most of the reasons you said, I think this episode showcased a lot of great dialogue
I agree.
and
I agree.
a lot of themes and philosophy, which enhances what Star Wars is, for me as a fan, just to see Nemec kinda go through his deal, right?
Yeah,
So I really appreciated that because we don't get people who can actually sit and outside of the Force and the Jedi Order, it's cool to see someone, in the trenches talk about what it means, what the good side and the bad side and all of it means. So it's not much action. It's more
yeah.
character development. And I mean, we got like a little bit, and I think it was rich in character development, but like, it made me care about the characters, but not so much that like it was a perfect episode. Far from it, right? So I think there's a lot of good and I think we'll go through it, but I think I'd be at an 8 here, and I think we're gonna have something cool next week for episode
Yeah.
6.
And the truth is, I do think that through this conversation we're about to have, I do feel like I'm gonna like the episode more than and this almost feels unfair because I actually really do like the episode, and
Mhm.
even talking about it like this, the dialogue was fantastic. It's
Yeah.
fantastic, and um, I'll just say like my least favorite part of the episode was the Cyril Karn stuff, and I didn't
Okay.
mind it. I thought it was well done. Like it's
Yeah.
like a really good dialogue. I just thought it
Mhm.
took me out of the rest of the episode a little bit. But like yeah, Mon Mothma stuff was great. Kind of broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
Just kind of going through a rough bit of it. But as we start this episode, we have Cassian. Wait, does it opens with? I've seen it. I just
No,
rewatched
no,
it.
I took some notes. Okay, so just to preface it, I was taking notes on first watch, and I probably shouldn't have done it. I should have probably just took it all in, then second watch, like, took notes, but I stopped halfway taking
Yeah,
notes. But I did it does start with Cyril Karn in at mom's house.
yeah,
I think it's Edie, her name, Eedy, and, man, I know a lot of people can relate sitting across
for
from their
sure.
mom, being like, you're just always a disappointment." You're
Basically, like, oh man, this is rough. This is this.
Yeah, like, I was getting a little too close to home, Tony Gilroy, but I like I mean, like, even, like, space cereal, like, she's treating him as a kid, here's
Yep.
some blue milk and some Captain Crunch, Space Crunch,
Which I think he deserves some of that. But a little over ambitious maybe. She's talking.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a little over ambitious. That's how he got him back there. Um,
Yeah, and you kinda feel for the guy, going back home's not easy. I know some of us have done it, some of
yeah,
us haven't, but it's not an easy thing to have to reevaluate your career, you
for
know?
sure. Yeah,
What'd you think of the Uncle Harlow little
Uncle
drop
Harlow.
there?
Here's
You think
here's the
he's gonna be
thing.
anybody? Anything?
I think it'll be something. Maybe like they reference him a whole lot, which I mean, I do want to know more there, and they did
Of
draw
course.
me in enough. Um,
Yeah,
Generally though, like the Cyril Karn stuff, well, I thought is super well written, and like,
yeah,
man, it is really, I would say good stuff, good content.
sure.
I don't know. It always took me out of the episode. There's not, when it started with it is fine, but like later in the episode, there's specifically a moment where um Cassian and the crew are sort of planning their thing, and they're about to start marching, and then it cuts to Cyril Karn, and then it just cuts back to
Yeah,
them marching, and I just felt a
yeah,
little jarred by it. Um,
yeah, agreed. I
I
noticed
think
that as
that
well.
the set looks great though, and I
Oh,
every time I watch it, I'm like, man, I just want to live there. I just want to live in that place. Like they got a good amount of space for living on wherever. Are they in Coruscant? No, they're
I
not.
don't
They're
think it's
not. I
Coruscant.
think I
It's
got
like one of
wrapped up
the
in the
Yeah. It's possible it is, but I don't think so. When he
yeah.
landed, they mentioned, like, 3 places like Hacian Prime and some other places, so we don't know for sure, but, it could be Coruscant. I would say
Yeah,
50/50.
they got
They
a
haven't
good
specifically said.
square footage in there, man. Like I'm like,
Oh,
you got some
yeah, yeah.
space. I
They
like
got some space.
this little breakfast nook we got going, open on both sides.
His room
Um,
was nice and big. He had a couple of figures too. I was like,
yeah,
"Okay, I
he's
see you."
look,
It would look like a clone trooper phase 1, like,
yeah. I'm like,
back
we got a
back. I was like,
collector over here.
yeah.
Um, but what do you
Um
think?
I think the Karn stuff, I wish like, it was cool, but it's interesting because I thought we would, like, sit with it a little bit more, but I
Yeah,
don't but we're not. So, I think that's why it was probably not impactful because it was very very few scenes, um, a little bit of back and forth, and what's funny is, like, you don't like Karn as a character, but
yeah.
you can appreciate what they're doing with it. It's something different, and you actually don't know what's gonna happen.
It
I still
is.
think he's gonna be Imperial sympathizer going, to get Andor still.
Yeah,
But I
I
think he
agree.
might be infiltrating the rebellion here. Maybe I was thinking Harlow might be like a rebellion guy, and be like, "Hey, why don't you come help out the cause here?" So we'll
That'd
see.
be interesting. With him, you're right. There's so many ways that he can go. But like, I do think that I wouldn't be surprised if he gets over ambitious again and sort of is blinded by this hunt for Andor in some way, and it bites him.
Things are just
Um,
falling. Hold on.
oh yeah. Oh, shout out! Look, hey, can
Yeah.
you give us a second? Just because we've talked about that so many times.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
every single time we talk, and that is a cosplay that I always gush about. That. Oh my gosh, I'm blown away
Yeah,
by
I
the thing.
had to get it into the frame for everybody who hasn't seen it online yet, but this is my grunt from Mass Effect 2 and 3. Um, I got a fisheye lens going, so it's actually way bigger than you can probably see. It looks small, but it's big,
I'll
and I'm
link
worried about
the
it falling
post.
like it is now. So,
Oh,
I'm gonna
this is
adjust.
top heavy. Yeah, you're good. Go
I'm adjusting.
go ahead. I got this. So, with that stuff, I'll link the one of his posts he has with that if I can find it. But really, really, really impressive stuff. Really impressive stuff.
Thank
That
you.
I was blown away when you posted it because you had shown me before on video when you first started talking. Um,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, especially seeing it like in context, like next to other people, I'm like, God damn.
Yeah,
That,
yeah. It actually probably stands close to like 7 feet,
yeah.
and my head is right at the neck when I wear it. But this fully encapsulates me. But the arms are mine,
Heck yeah.
and the leg. So it's kind of an optical illusion a little bit,
It's
but it's
awesome
fun.
though.
I love wearing it. It brings me a lot of joy.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Back to Andor though.
Yes,
We
yes.
with these episodes, I'm really pleased with though. 49 minutes, 45 minutes, they're all above that like 30-minute, 35-minute mark, which
Yeah,
an
yeah.
extra 10 minutes does seem to do a lot for me.
It does. It
Uh,
does for me as well.
allows more
You can
characters to breathe and these
you can fit in a
dialogues.
lot
Yeah.
more. Oh, I'm sorry. I
No,
keep
no,
cutting you
that's
off.
all you, my man.
Yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. It allows the characters to breathe. You get a little bit more dialogue. You probably get like a handful more scenes where you can actually get to sit with these characters. One thing from a podcast I listened to, they were saying the scene where they're around the fire pit and just kind of
Yeah,
anticipating what's going to happen the next day. We don't get that so much like in a 2 hour movie like Rogue One, and like I think if we in hindsight if we could have got more of this like longer formats for the movies, we might be like more tied to some of the characters that they introduce instead of their outside media. But that's why I love the Star Wars TV right now. And just real quick, Andor is probably slowly rising to one of my favorite Disney Plus
yeah.
streaming media over MCU, just because the dialogue is so good.
It's
It
crazy.
it hits on like to me like Game of Thrones level of dialogue and philosophy right now,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's just like overly hyped for me, but it's getting up there above Boba Fett, above Mando. So the show's fantastic.
I
Show's really good.
agree. I think that I had just watched Peaky Blinders for the first time, and that shows
Mm,
there's plenty of action in that show, but it's pretty dialogue heavy also. And
okay.
then watching House of the Dragon and everything, I do think that
So
Andor fits in with that like level of character building and storytelling. Yeah, maybe there's a lot more threads in Game of Thrones and a lot more,
of course.
but like this is definitely the most we've gotten from Star Wars in a long time from like a conversational standpoint. I'm a
Mm,
big fan of the Force Awakens. It teeters back and forth. We'll make a video of this, I'm sure, but it teeters back and forth is my favorite Star Wars movie of all time. I
don't tell
love
me that.
I love the Force Awakens, and I don't mind the sequel trilogy. It has its ups and downs, but there's not many conversations in it. Like it's a lot of like we're
Right.
going here, 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 here.
Right.
And so having this time to just sit down with these people and hear them, sort of lay out the dirty laundry sometimes
Yeah.
and get into it and build these relationships. I'm loving it.
Okay, so let's get into the scene where Andor wakes up. He looks over and his stuff's gone. And I'm like, oh man. And he jumps up out of bed looking for his stuff. And we got a shirtless Skeen. And they talk about his tattoos.
Yep.
And they mention crate head and by the hand. Let me get your opinion on what do you think those two things might mean?
So Cray hidden by the hand, I will say, no idea. I have no clue.
You and the internet.
I don't know. There's so many things in this episode that made me scratch my head.
Yeah.
Those were two of them.
Yeah.
Not scratch my head in a bad way though, because sometimes something can be like, that's kind of dumb. Scratch my head. This is just like there's clearly some life lived between these two.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know where it comes from. I don't know what that means that Cassian knows of those tattoos,
Yeah.
but I think that it just shows that these are two guys that have been places and seen things, and they know each other have seen these things, and so
Yeah.
I think that may you know, just further drive a stake between the potential trust that they could have. Because like, this guy's kind of shady.
Or relatable,
Relatable could
like
be.
real sees real kind of thing. Like, oh, you're not just some schlep off the street. You've seen some things, so that you could take it that way too.
You could. My thing with that is like, we had that scene, which it was a great scene. Very
Great scene.
tense. Cassian's like clearly, on edge. He doesn't want him finding that crystal. But he even later in the episode, he 100% still didn't trust him, and he was ready to cut the
Right.
man, cut his throat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how their relationship plays out. how long Skeen survives if if this
Yeah.
goes on here.
Yeah, I want to talk about that towards the
Yeah,
end.
we will.
I mean, this is where the title came from for episode 5, The Axe Forgets. I
Yep.
love that. The axe forgets, but the tree remembers, talking about, hurting people, and the hurt are the people who take it the hardest, right?
Yeah.
But then, we're going to do the chopping now. Like, we're going to do the hurting. So the axe is all of the characters in this show. Like, they're all going to be a part of this, weaponizing each other. And I love that so much. Um, Going around the internet, people are thinking the crate head might be some kind of prison, because it
That would
will have
be
like kind of like a barcode like look to it.
yeah.
Hopefully it's, unless it's like a some kind of other faction, you know, because
That's really
crate like
interesting.
the dragon, right?
Yeah,
Or crate
Crate
like the
Dragon.
Tatooine thing, not crate. I was like, was it crate like
Like
the planet
Crate,
is
the mineral planet Crate.
Mineral Planet? That's what I thought at first, but it wasn't spelled the same.
That's what I thought too when I heard it immediately. Like, yeah,
Yeah, and then, by the or is it by the hand?
by the
By the
hand.
hand. Hand is used a lot for, like, the Emperor, like, Jade is it Jade? Jade Mara? The hand of the
Marjade?
or Mara Jade, there you go.
Yeah.
And then, Vader, I was like, I don't think it's a dark side thing. This guy doesn't
Yeah.
seem like a follower of that kind of thing, so
Doesn't
I
seem
believe
like it.
these 2 things haven't really been mentioned in previous Star Wars lore.
Yeah.
But it's cool that it's here, and I'm expecting 2 spin-off shows from crate heads and
I was gonna say I'm already
by the
excited for the spin-off show or the book or whatever the heck they do because I know it's gonna happen.
it's not yeah, I think there might be the by the hand thing, there's like maybe a small reference to High Republic, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like confirmed from what I saw.
No definitive
Um,
line drawn between them.
yeah, but I love it. I like, you're not trusted here, dude. But it was interesting because I think it was Vel's call. He said like Vel wanted me to go through
Yeah.
your stuff. So
And he's like,
to
you
me,
can
I'm like,
ask her. Go ahead.
yeah, and that was the weird thing because like if she brought him in, why would she be questioning him? So I think that like
Set
that
him
was
off
kind
a
of
little bit.
weird. Yeah, I think Skeen was like, yeah, this isn't right. Um, and then they mention he made a little thing about like if Sintra, she's a badass, but she's in somebody else's bed, and
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, she's with Vel. So that was an interesting little thread that we have a couple of a relationship here
Yep.
in this group.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
they got quite the ragtag group together, and we did certainly learn more about everybody in the group. We got
yeah,
oh my gosh, what's the young man's name? I always forget his name.
Nemec.
Nemec. You gave him his whole
Yeah,
manifesto there. He's filled his heart,
awesome.
and I'm like, dude, this kid he's good, man. I
He's
really
so
like what he
good.
adds to them. That sit down they have, him, Keen, and Andor. He's talking about his idealistic, how he can change the world and it's really good stuff, and
It's so good.
it's another character that I don't think we have those characters like I feel like I could take on the Empire all by myself and things like that, but dies
Yep.
and dies.
Uh,
Now
yeah.
that's why I'm like, oh, he's gonna
Yeah,
die.
it's gonna break our they're gonna
uh,
break they're gonna break our heart in this next episode, man.
they are,
I don't think Nemec's gonna walk away from this this heist, unfortunately.
and that's why this episode isn't filler. I know I use that
It's
word,
not.
but
It's
I
not.
used that word when I was trying to find words for it, but because yes, I would have already been sad if Nemec died. I would have been sad if it happened in this episode, but like this episode added much more to it. I think back to like in Kenobi, right, when they are going to the Inquisitor's Fortress Inquisitor's, and they're in those like Hoth speeders. Those two pilots who they're like, we're not fighters, we're not soldiers, and that
Right.
guy and I forgot his name, but he dies.
Forgot
I
his
didn't
name,
feel
yeah.
anything. I was like, I mean,
No.
it's like, oh man, but
No,
you
I
know,
didn't feel
they
nothing for
didn't
him.
they
I
didn't
was
give
just
us
like,
anything besides he's a guy, he's not a soldier,
yeah.
he's here to help.
Yeah, yeah, and he's expendable.
Yeah,
No, I love it, like, because Nemec has already said, "Hey, I trust this guy. I have a good feeling about him," and then sharing, his ideals, his manifesto, like, bringing him into the fold, and then even going it back to when Cassian's like, "Hey, I'm here for the money,"
yeah,
and he's like, kinda disappointed. So it's like,
yeah. I kind of felt that
it's
in my heart. You could
yeah.
see this. It wasn't just anger. Is yeah, he's sad. He's disappointed.
Yeah, he's like, because he's there for the rebellion. He's there
Yeah,
to make a change and give it to him. I love the line. I mean, it comes up later. but he says, "Surprise from above is never as
Yeah.
shocking from the ones from below." I was like, "Dude, this is there's so many good
Dude,
lines. Oh, the
when
show's
I
so
heard
good."
that line, I looked at my brother. I'm like, dude, that's like, is this the opening of a Clone Wars episode? You know, where they always have like the phrase in the beginning, and then it goes like,
Yeah, yeah,
dun,
yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
was like,
Oh, it's
that
so
is so
good.
good. That is so good, and that's stuff that we've been missing for sure. Like, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
such rich, and I wouldn't even say missing because I don't think there's been a whole lot of Star Wars that has had these like longer conversations, or we've had conversations in Star Wars for sure, but you know I love Star Wars. But this is something that is pretty distinct so far, and I'm really, really, really finding it refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, we got, some of my favorite stuff in Star Wars is like, is it Return of the Jedi? Just Yoda going on about like the Force,
Yeah,
and even in Rebels, I forgot Kanan and the kind of like the gray Force
yeah,
entity, and just kind of like just dropping knowledge on but it's like expected from these deities, these higher power, these high count
it's like with
midichlorian users.
I count
It's like,
metachlorine. Yeah, the wealths of knowledge of
yeah, there's
thousands of
knowledge
years
there.
of yeah,
Yeah, but it's this young kid who can see that this world sucks and there needs to be a change. And again, it's Star Wars being political and being and
yeah,
having current events.
being a little meta
And but
there.
yeah, it's a little meta, but it's not like ham-fisted. Like it's
No,
good.
it's not. Yeah,
It's relatable. It enriches these characters so that we actually do care. Even Skeen, I care about. I feel
me
bad that we
too.
don't even have any time for. I don't even remember the name. The other bigger black dude who's kind of like teaching the military stuff. Um, I wish we got a little bit more of his backstory because I'm like, now I don't trust him because we have
I know.
information on everybody
And
else.
what
So,
a oh, real quick, what a great I love that scene when Cassian's like, you should switch places. He's like, what?
yes. Oh,
He's like, your weapons are supposed to be pointing out. And he's like, he's left-handed, and like, and they were immediately like, no, we're not listening to you. And then Vel
yeah.
was it or
Vel's like,
yeah,
explain
Vel's
why.
what's his dominant hand? He's like left, and then
Yeah.
right,
Talk
left,
to everybody.
but he favors right when he shoots. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
super
So
perceptive.
cool, man.
Remind me of
So
like
cool.
Jason Bourne, like the Bourne Identity, when he's like in the diner in the beginning of the movie. He's like, there's 8 cars in the parking lot. There's one with like
Hey, Tony Gilroy, that's the Bourne
yep,
series. He
yep.
did it. So
And
it's
that's what I
like,
was like, I see it, I see it. It's so good.
yeah, I mean, even since we're talking about this crew, let's talk about Gorn. I love the backstory about his rebellion.
Yeah,
If I'm not mistaken, falling in love with a Aldani woman, and
yep.
then did they say that she was killed or
I
lost? I forgot how
I
they
believe
phrased
she's
it.
dead. Yeah, I believe she's I can't remember if she was killed, but I'm pretty sure. Oh man, I'm forgetting, but I'm pretty sure she was killed.
Okay, and then he didn't get the promotion he wanted,
Yep.
and I don't know if it was due to that. And he's like, well, this place sucks then. you know.
Yeah. He's like
The Yeah, yeah. The actor that we're thinking of, the other one is Tamron.
Tamron,
Taramin.
Terriman.
Taramin.
Gotcha.
Gershwin
Gershwin
Ustate
Eustache.
Jr. I wish I knew how to pronounce his name correctly. Um, but after those scenes there, um, we get to Mon Mothma at the breakfast table. Give me your opinion of all that.
Oh man. Again, I keep saying this every time we move on, but that scene every time, like even on my third watch through, I was kind of working on a few other things, but like I stopped what I was doing to watch that scene without any distractions. I was like,
Yeah.
I love that scene. It is hard. It's just it makes me so just ungrateful. This her husband is so snarky, like like her daughter's being so disrespectful. It's like yep, she's got a point. Like
Dude, there's so many things that could be happening there. Either he's feeding her this rhetoric of like, like, or even him not showing respect. Like when you're living at home, if mom or dad doesn't respect mom or dad, the kids are gonna feel that way too, right?
yeah, no,
So
for
that's
sure.
why it's
And
like important, for them to be together, but they're not, and it sucks because Mon Mothma she's kind of pulling them apart with the rebellion thing, right? She
yeah,
can't tell them. So to protect them, she's keeping them out of it, but then that's causing a rift in the family. And then what's other crazy, and you're probably gonna say it now too, we know about Mon Mothma in the rebellion from the future stuff, right?
Yep, yep.
What happens to her daughter?
I
What happens
know.
to her husband?
As soon as the daughter walked in, I'm like, wait a
You're
minute.
like, she
Wait a
has
minute.
people.
Hold on now. What's what's going on here? I don't what's going on here? Is she asleep? Is this a bad dream? Because
No,
one,
man.
like, okay, yes, you could say like, yeah, she's keeping him in the dark to protect him. Also, I think if she told her husband, he
Oh,
would rat on her so
would rat on
fast.
her so
It
hard.
like he would have the speed dial ready to the
Yeah,
emperor and like whoever he can, like, yeah, you gotta come get this
yeah,
lady, this traitor.
yeah. I don't trust her husband, and it sucks because it's kind of like a two-way thing because she's not being trustworthy.
It's fair.
But
But
yeah,
damn.
yeah.
Because yeah.
I enjoyed that for sure. But please,
I was gonna say, you would, you know, with Mon Mothma and the character we know her as, you would think like, man, I would have assumed, and you never know, political relations and things like that, maybe smoothing things over, opposite parties, all that stuff. It could happen. But like you would think, man, of all people, whoever Mon Mothma chose as a husband, I thought would have been Gung Ho Rebellion, and this is such a departure from I thought.
yeah.
What I would have imagined from before watching the show. If someone told me, Mon Mothma was married and had a kid, I would have thought it's like the Organas, like they.
Right, right, right,
It's
right.
certainly not. Certainly
No,
not.
no. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I love, and it sucks because I want more from that too. I
Yeah,
want more from
I
Picard, I
want
want
their
more
own
from that.
show. I want it.
Give we were talking about who needs shows, who needs spinoffs. Mon Mothma needs a spinoff
Give
now
Mon
with
Mothma
her
the
family.
spinoff.
But hey, I could also see the Perrin and what is it, Lita?
Yeah,
Uh, they're like, oh, okay, well, mom's gone. Well, I guess we'll just chill out in Alderaan for a little bit.
fair. And honestly, it could be a case of she's
Classic.
outed and they just are like, yeah, mom
She's a
is
traitor.
a traitor and she's a zealot and she's this
She was never
criminal.
here.
Yeah,
Uh, One another cool wrinkle that might be happening too, because she's like, "You're just using me for show," and you think, "Oh, politically, I'm still a family person." But then, what if she's using her daughter to like drop her daughter off at school, then had to do like your
yeah,
rebellion thing on the way home?
it's true.
So she could actually be using her
Could be
daughter in
using her
that
as
way.
some sort of cover to like, yeah, that's a fair point. And I think
Yeah,
that goes further into like something we talked about, especially on our first episode talking about this series. Is like, you know, the rebellion is definitely for the greater good, but they're not always going to be doing things black and white good. It's not just light and dark. She may be
yeah,
using her teenage daughter for those things to sort of work, behind the scenes and be able to justify leaving and going to a certain place and things like that, which is, it's unfortunate and wrong for the teenager, but like when the balancing the galaxies in play, you have to think, you have to make those decisions. And
yeah.
unfortunately her family may have been an unfortunate casualty of that, in the when we're done with this.
Man, that's sad, but yeah,
It is sad because I don't see a future in this show where she like convinces her husband and he's like, you know what, you're right, we do need to fight against
no.
it. That's not gonna happen.
If anything, he's just like, "I'm taking our child
Yeah,
away from
like,
you."
we're
Ah,
we're keeping the house, you keep the
yeah,
speeder, get out of
yeah.
here.
You go with your dirty rebels and do your thing.
But
Man,
she's been great. I
great.
actually don't know if Genevieve has what she's done like outside of this. I don't know her as an
Oh, yeah.
actor, but
Me
she's been fantastic, man. She's been
Solid, dude,
fantastic.
solid. Telling you, she needs to give her agent a raise for that one
Heck
call for
heck
the
yeah.
prequels.
And she stayed ready, man. She stayed ready. She was
Yeah, she was like, "I know it's coming. I know it is
just
coming."
give me 20
Um,
years.
uh, I think they jump back to the scene where they're drinking Dre milk. I love that.
Yes.
Uh, they're like, "It sucks, but it'll sustain you for the day."
Yep.
So I like how there's like a little ration thing added into Star Wars where it's like, "Don't worry about food. Not everybody's gonna be
Yeah.
sitting and having a nice dinner." Um, I thought that was cool. Uh, we talked about the philosophy and just even him with kind of his own little star or wayfinder star
Yeah.
pathfinder thing, not relying on technology. That was kind of an interesting
Oh
thing
yeah. Yeah,
too.
it's like a Star Wars sundial thing going on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it still relevant for today. And we can't just rely on technology. Do we have useful skills? Are we too reliant sometimes? I love that. I love just the extra like higher level thinking from media. It's always good and interesting when you can actually have conversations past that.
Yeah,
Unlike some of the things we've gotten in the future with Star Wars and with other things, it's just surface level,
of
right? And we
course.
focus on the bad dialogue. But now we have like so rich dialogue. We don't deserve Andor. We don't deserve this
We
show.
don't. And you know what? It's just, again, like, man, just what 15 more minutes or, 12 more minutes of an episode allows you. That doesn't necessarily mean if, I'm just going to use Kenobi again as an example because it's so fresh. If Kenobi
Yeah,
was 45 minutes an episode, that doesn't necessarily mean that it would have had better dialogue, but
correct.
it gives you the canvas to extend these
Right.
conversations. Because if Andor was 30 minutes an episode, I'm sure that we would still have some good stuff, but we just wouldn't be. It would probably be paced differently.
Correct.
It would feel different from episode to episode, and there just wouldn't be as much time, like you said, to build these things. The whole Cyril Karn stuff. Who knows if we'd even have him if it was
Yeah,
thirty
I was
minute
thinking that. I
episodes?
could have probably hit the cutting room floor in a
Yeah,
30-minute episode. I mean, even showing him like looking out the window and at the sun, you could cut that out,
of
right?
course.
But
Yeah.
he's also part of the tree remembers
Yep.
theme. He's hurt by Andor. Andor is the one with the axe for this guy.
Yeah.
So he wants to get on that chop on his own too. So
And I do think that those
um
scenes are gonna, they'll matter when he's, back in sort of a meaningful place as far as the
right.
story goes. Like, yeah, we're sort of showing him at his rock bottom, but he is
Oh
gonna
yeah.
come back. And those scenes, like you said, with his, with his mom and at home, and sort of having his tail tucked between his legs, those are gonna matter later on.
They
Um,
are.
they will.
Not filler, Eli. Shut up.
Filler.
They show they show more Lieutenant Gorn. I love they show him kind of doing his daily, showing his authority, like when they're on top of the dam and he's talking to one of the corporals there, Corporal
Yeah.
Kimby or something like that,
Yeah.
and and oh man, the Imperial pigs are still
I love it.
racist and bigoted. He's
So
like, oh, they
racist.
stink.
When I say I love it, I'm like, man, this is just like everything you know the Empire to be. In just there's no shortage of examples that like,
It was a great scene, just like because like even knowing now his backstory about his love for the woman, thus not really hating the people, right? He's
yep,
not racist or anything, but this guy's
just
like, there was 1,000 people who used to show up, but now it's 100, but they stink. And I
yeah,
was like, man, just like laying and
just
thinking, he's just like, gosh, I'll throw you off this
yeah.
damn.
I hope you do go up there. I'm gonna touch you with the side of it.
And since we're talking about it, I love that the just the intelligence of these side characters, right? Because who knows if Gorn's gonna make it through this thing, right?
Yep,
He's just as expendable as the rest of them.
he is.
But even going like, hey, that needs to be painted. Are you guys gonna stay? You gonna paint that tonight? And they're like, well, yeah, we could. And then they're like, but it's 3 years and we don't get to see the eye. Can we see the eye? And he's like, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's a real conversation. It's real. It's not like you guys got to paint that. Like Roger, Roger, and just like
Right, right, right,
yeah.
right. There's real people in Star Wars, which I
Mm-hmm.
love because everyone else in Star Wars feels so like robotic and the lines are the lines and it feels plot driven. Where
Yeah,
this one, it's like they're making it make sense. Like and I love it because now I feel like Tony Gilroy, even though he's not a Star Wars fan,
yeah.
he knows how to give good product, and it's like I feel like my time is being appreciated for what I'm getting out of it.
You know,
Um,
yeah.
not as much as I did with Obi-Wan. It feels like let's give them what they want to see, but sometimes it falls too much like on action or nostalgia because they're mentioning stuff that we know. They
They
mention
are.
Kessel, they mention Jakku, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
I know that,
I know.
but
I
it's
was like,
not.
oh, Jakku, they got a station there. What?
Yeah, yeah, but it's not like here's Jakku. Do you remember when this
Yeah,
happened? Like it's not fan service. It's
it's
actual like Easter eggs for the
it's
people.
Easter eggs, but it's also just using the world that's there to sort of make this feel real. They're using the things that are already
Exactly.
there. They're not just shoving like these references in just to be like, hey guys, you remember there's that movie with that planet? Well, we're gonna show that planet here. Like Coruscant being in
Yeah,
something alone gets people excited. Like I
for
get
sure.
excited just seeing Coruscant again in live action, but
Yeah,
it's there and it fits. It's not like, hey guys, we're on Coruscant. Look, it's Coruscant. Like it feels like
yeah,
okay, the Empire took over, and this is where they're running this. Like
yeah. This is where the
secret.
show's
Yeah,
running.
it's where
Yeah,
it's where it's run. Um,
Yeah, and that's what the one thing I like, I mean, that we're getting with the other Mandalorian universe is, like, it's Tatooine. Well, it could have been any other different desert planet, and it wouldn't have made that much of a difference, but it's kind of like a buzzword now where it's like, "Oh, we put in Tatooine and people will watch because they remember it." I was just like, "Oh, it doesn't have to be like that. Let's get some
yeah,
new stuff. Let's get." I love how it's just sprinkled in. It's not overdoing it.
it is, and like you said, there actually have been quite a few references to things and new things. Just to go on a quick thing, like
Yeah.
Sky Kyber. I'm like, what does that even
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
What? And they had uh, oh my gosh,
Luthen?
Lucian. I'm like Lucian. Luthen had mentioned, it's from, it's sort of Sky Kyber, but it's been doubled down. It's like, yeah, this is Sky Kyber. I'm like, where's that from? What makes it Sky Kyber, and what makes that
Yeah.
something so
I'm
distinct?
I'm wondering if I mean, when he said it, I was like, "Oh, is it like" I mean, they have space travel, but
Yeah,
I'm like, I wonder if it's like mineral that could be used like kyber, maybe not as strong, but
yeah,
it dissipates in the sky,
maybe.
when it reaches atmosphere.
That's a cool.
But
That's
that
a cool
must
idea.
mean there's some other, I would just guess, planet that was destroyed or something
And
that
it just
has
sort of,
more kyber and it's just in the atmosphere
yeah.
and eventually comes in every. It's such an interesting thing. I wonder if we'll get more about that. Man, an Andor like encyclopedia would be great. Like
Oh
I
heck
don't really
yeah,
care for the movie ones as much
yeah.
because it's very like, oh, that thing in the very far background is is
I
this.
I will admit I love those. I love those visual
They're great. They're
encyclopedias,
great. They're great.
but there is some stuff that's just kind of dumb. Like
Yeah, yeah. It feels like
I
that feels like
remember,
filler.
and I think it was in one of the visual encyclopedia. The only I don't have the episode 9 one. I have up to 8, but
Okay.
I remember reading somewhere, I could be wrong, but I think that they basically said that like Janna was Lando's daughter in one of those, and like stuff like that. It's like it's probably not necessary to even go into that, but
That's
like
cool.
stuff like that
That's
sometimes
funny.
makes me like, oh, well, that's something. But
Yeah.
like some of the stuff is cool, but yeah, some of it is a little goofy sometimes.
Yeah. So they do show Blevin again. They're
Yeah,
taking over a hotel. What I love about that was the Imperial officer saying, "Can I be prefect?" I know it doesn't come with a raise, but it would be cool to have the title.
yep,
Like, I actually really like that because that comes into play later in the conversation about Skeen's brother, who was taking over what his brother was doing, the pepper trees.
yeah,
And I was like, "Oh, that was a nice little
for sure,
like
yeah.
setup
I didn't think about
for
that.
that."
Yeah,
Yeah, because he's like another prefect came to try to take over the land, and his brother. Let's talk about that scene really quick since I'm
yeah,
on it. They fight, they don't trust each other,
yep.
and Andor is like, "Okay, do you wanna know why I'm here? Here's what I'm paid to be here."
You laid it out there. Yep.
He's like, "I'm not here to fight your rebellion. I'm just here to get my paycheck and go." He
Hey,
goes,
I
"But you
feel you,
guys."
Andor.
Yeah, and and even going back to them going like, "How does this work?"
Yeah.
The They're like, "How does it know the weight
Oh
or the
yeah.
scale?"
Oh, that was so good.
Dude, that was
That
insane
was
to me because he's like, I
so.
I felt just as confused as he did. I was like, "How are you guys were supposed to do this mission without knowing how to do that part of the mission?"
And like they were like nobody wanted Andor there, and like no, we don't need him. You don't even know how to launch the thing. Like
Yeah.
what a great. And again, I keep saying genuine. We keep saying genuine, but like, oh my god, the look on his face felt like the look on our face on the couch. Like, what are you talking about? You don't
Yeah,
know? Like, we'll figure
and
it
she was like,
out.
"Well, we'd figure it out. It would just probably take a long time, but it'd get ugly, it'd get nasty, but
Remind me
we'd
of
get," and I'm
Finn
like,
in The Force Awakens. Han's like, he's like, "Well, use the Force." He's like, "That's not how the
right.
Force works. You don't just go in there and just."
Yeah, dude, Luthen was right to send him in there.
Oh, for sure.
Because if he knows Andor's background, right, he knows this team and knows that that's a key component who's missing. I'm wondering if they had any other. There's no way there was another person there that they
No,
lost. They would have
no,
talked about it. But I was like, well, maybe Gorn might know, but if he's
maybe.
indisposed, because I'm wondering, with this heist, theorizing, is Gorn going with them or
Mm,
because I don't know, because they're stealing something and they're just leaving.
they are. Yeah,
So I don't know if Gorn's gonna join them on the escape. I mean, I'm assuming now.
I would assume so. Also,
Um,
with Andor though, one thing that I've been thinking back to, like, yeah, I think that if they had someone else that they lost or something, it definitely would have been aired out by now.
Right.
But
That's
you know, thinking back to the first three episodes, um, you know, Cassian had been it. Um, he had been trying to track down Cassian for a while to, you know, he's like, my friend's been trying to meet you. My friend's been trying to meet you. And he's like,
Oh,
guessing
I
your
didn't
friend
get
been
that.
trying to meet you.
Okay.
So maybe he's actually been trying to get him earlier, you know,
Got
and
it. I
thinks
didn't
that
get that.
Cassian was off world or he was, you know, doing whatever the hell he's up to. And
Yeah.
I think that maybe it wasn't in, you know, it wasn't in his plans to bring him in this late.
Yeah,
Could be a
probably.
case. But that was sort of where my head went to initially with like, you know, he seems like a puzzle piece that needs to be there. Like it's always been like people have different jobs here and people have different, you know, things that, you know, that they're doing, but Cassian seems like a indisposable like piece of this plan. And it
Yeah,
just so happens like
but
they
he's
just
not.
found him under the couch right before.
Yeah. But yeah, he's definitely not. He's proven that they need him. But I love when it comes to that, him telling them like you know, don't use me as an excuse. This is the
Yeah.
hardest day. Yeah, of course. We're about to call a hike on this thing, and you know, you guys are losing your nerve. Like,
Yep.
stop, because it's his life on the line too now, right? Because
And
they all
everybody
have to
needs
watch
that
each
guy on the
other.
team. You know, he tells him how it is. He tells him straight, and
Yeah.
it's in such a moment of it was true. He calls him out on their stuff, and you know, who knows how it would have gone without Cat. I mean, I think we do know how it probably would have gone without Cassian there. Probably
Yeah.
would have just failed, and we
It
don't know that it's
failed.
not gonna totally fail. I'm sure it'll fail on some aspect, but I'm sure
I mean,
not
losing
fail.
people is a
Yeah,
fail.
losing
It's definitely
people.
not a win. I, Um, and then so Skeen apologizes and tells him that story about his brother, and I
Yeah,
love that 'cause, he's like, "This is the best you're gonna get from me," you know, as apology wise, and I love how Cassian's like,
good
"That's
enough.
cool.
Yeah, it's
That's
an
fine. Yeah,
apology enough. Yeah.
yeah, I love that."
It's not personal, you know. It's one thing though, like I don't know, when he pulled the sky kyber, he's like, I knew he was lying. I'm like, I mean, man, he
I
couldn't
thought, you
have.
see, and that would have been a perfect opportunity for Andor to lie about it,
Yep,
but he didn't,
he
and I
didn't.
actually like that about the character too,
Me too.
because it shows more of he needs their trust again to make this for him to survive.
Yep.
But I like how the guy also got it wrong, unless it is worth 30,000. But Luthen said it was 50,
Yeah.
and this guy's saying it's 30, and he's like, "Why would you be on this mission for money if you're carrying stuff?" Because I would have been like, "Dude, that's a gift from my mom,"
Exactly.
you
That's what I thought.
know?
That's where I thought it was gonna go. But he sort of, you know, is showing the growth of Cassian over time, which is great. It's not, you know, it's
You know,
slowly happening. You know, this is a first, another step in him. You know, he could have lied. He could have easily lied.
easily, easily. I love that. I love that. They check in with Dedra
Yep.
going through. I love how they're like, it's too random to be random,
Yeah.
even though I think it actually might be random
It
enough.
it could be. And she
But
may look.
you know what's funny about all that is, like, you kinda want her to, like, you don't want her to catch anybody or win because she's Imperial, but then you kinda want her to do, you're like, "Oh, you're getting there.
Yeah.
You're pulling this thread here, and it's turning up to be something." Um, but, that night, that was a nice little check-in with her. I think she passed Blevins in the hall and gave him a dirty look or whatever, but,
And that's
uh,
like where, you know, we didn't spend much time with her either, probably, you know, maybe
no.
even less than with Cyril Karn. I don't know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it is for me that it just fit a little more. Maybe it's because we were already, you know, there's more Imperial scenes in in the show and all. But
sure.
I thought they fit in very well, very quick. But, you know, it just kind of said, you know, she's still here, she's still on this mission trying to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah,
Um and they do have a lot of threads. We still have just over half the season left. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see if these threads all come in together in the last three episode arc, or if it's like some of them
mm,
come to a head, you know, in the next three episode arc and some in the other. I'm
yeah,
interested to see if we get some like epic final three episodes, or if it's sort of
oof,
because I know that we're getting a second season. I
yeah.
still don't know like where Saw Gerrera's gonna come in,
Oh,
if
right, we gotta
K2
get
is
that.
gonna show up, and all that stuff. So I mean, Saw Gerrera's kind of a
Yeah,
big deal, you know, in
mhm,
this world, especially with the rebellion and things. So it'll be interesting to see when and where he pops up. But I'm still looking
yeah.
out for him. Still looking out for
Yeah,
him.
Saw Watch. Yeah, gosh, I'm trying to make sure I don't forget anything before we head to the end of the episode. They show the tie like swooping in on these poor shepherds.
Ooh, yeah, like hide the guns.
I was like, oh shoot.
It,
And it's weird, I don't know what the Aldani people are like, but it's weird that the Empire doesn't think of anything about this mixed match group of people just hanging out here.
with
So
this
I thought
like
that that's
little model
interesting.
thing built in the middle of nowhere. I felt like it's like they got caught with paint on their hands, you know? It's like,
Yeah,
man, but you could also say, typical Empire, he's just trying to show off and zoom through and scare these people and it's just
yeah, they're just messing around. Bunch
yeah,
of frat boys.
bunch of
It feels
frat
like.
boys.
Any guesses of what Vel and Sintra are doing away from splitting the party here?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of anticipated this in a way, saying, it may not just be as cut dry as they're just going in to, steal and leave. There may be,
Oh, right,
a side mission, if you will, a
right.
side objective.
Yeah,
Oh man, because they did split off. I didn't if I would have guessed, it would have been splitting off once they were in. Obviously,
right,
that's not happening. I
right,
don't
right.
know where they're going, man. I don't know,
Yeah.
but they got their own thing.
I love that. And that was another thing. And just thinking about it now, the way they laid out their little farmstead,
Yeah.
it was like the correct distances for certain things, and
Yes.
like this is how far we're gonna go from here to here, and from there to there, and the tower's there. Like him just kind of laying it out for him. I thought that was so cool and way to prep it. But I'm wondering also if like they don't have enough Imperial uniforms for Sintra and Vel, especially if they're like male uniforms. I'm wondering if they're gonna sneak in with Aldani somehow, or
Ooh.
if because like we don't know what the culture like for
Yep.
the third eye thing, and I'm guessing it's at night, right? So,
Yeah, because of
um,
this meteor
yeah, I mean, I'm
shower.
assuming, yeah, yeah. So, I'm wondering if it could be anything. Really, I actually don't have many ideas for what Vel and Sintra are up to, but I do feel like them two away. If anything goes wrong with our four, they'll
Yeah.
be able to kind of swoop in and save the
Yeah,
day
it's
to be that extra
interesting.
little help.
It's interesting because they really haven't alluded to, so many times in shows like this, or not shows like this, but heists, if there's something else going on, they'll kind of allude to it. I have no idea. I don't think they've dropped any context clues to what the Sintra and Vel will be doing outside of the
Yeah,
group, which is
yeah,
exciting. It's super exciting because now I can go into next episode. Um, Pretty much without, because there's nothing I sort of dislike more than being able to see how something's going to play out before it plays out. Kind of takes
yeah.
the excitement out of it,
Sure,
especially
sure,
with a
sure.
heist thing, because there's been a few movies where you can see the ending coming and it's like,
Right,
ah. But this,
right.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't even have like a really good theory to throw out.
Yeah, let's just watch and enjoy the ride. One thing I wanna ask you, if have we been with any of the people of the group, the Aldani group,
Mhm.
besides when they showed Nemec and Skeen, like him pulling a gun on him when he was sleeping? Other than that scene, have we been with them away from Andor?
Briefly, no, no, you're right. Only when he pulled the gun on him when he was asleep, right?
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So what's cool about that is we only know as the audience what Andor knows.
You're right. You're
There's
right.
conversations happening outside of the audience and outside of Cassian. They're talking amongst each other about it, but we're just in the dark as in Andor, and that's such a cool thing. Because usually, we could look at Andor from far away, and then we can have Vel and Skeen talking about it over here. But we're only being revealed what Andor knows, and I think that's
That
amazing.
is
Just
great.
kind of keeping the
And
mystery.
especially because you know that scene you were pointing out earlier with when Skeen was searching through Andor's stuff and he's like, "Go ask Vel. She told me to do it." That's a
Yeah, yeah,
conversation
yeah.
that they've had these conversations,
Right.
and we're learning them as Andors. Which is a
Yeah.
brilliant point. I think that
Brilliant.
it's
Totally.
it's really good because of course we're gonna have other scenes outside of Andor.
Right.
With the
Right.
Imperials and
Of
with
course.
Cyril Karn and things like that. But yeah, this group, we're sort of living with them through Andor's eyes,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, definitely. It's
and
it's had such a cool thread because instead of us knowing all the secrets and be like, "Andor, it's right in front of you. You're so stupid." I love how we're just on the same page with him about everything.
I also think that this show, I mean, I could definitely see Emmy nominations for acting from this. We've had some really really great performances. Whereas I don't know if I would necessarily. Um, and I enjoyed Obi-Wan enough. I love The Mandalorian. I love it, but I don't think that there's necessarily been like that big like thespian performances in them, and that's
No,
not what they are, and that's fine. I love
no,
them. I love them. But with this show, I'm like, dude, this stuff is across the board. Everyone is there, like giving it their all. They're on it,
yeah,
man. Like
yeah,
this is some, like you said, you were comparing the dialogue and things to like Game of Thrones and stuff. They all seem to have bought in. They know what the show is.
mhm,
There's not like that one character who's being extra goofy or anything. It's like it seems like a
right,
really well run ship. And
yeah,
now that we're 5 episodes in, I mean, I'm pretty, as long as this show sticks the landing and doesn't like have a, some disastrous final like couple episodes, I do think that it'll probably land as my favorite Star Wars show. Disney
I
Plus
think
show
so.
probably. Disney Plus show in general.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
think so
enjoying
too.
She-Hulk. I want to say that. I'm enjoying it a lot. Uh
Yeah,
but
it's on
mm,
a different level though.
it is.
The show's on a different level.
It is. Uh
Um, yeah, I can't think of anything else. Well, so going through my MCU brain, my top was like Loki and WandaVision,
mhm.
but this is again on a different level than
Yeah.
those two shows.
I think Loki might be my favorite as well.
Yeah, it's
Um
closer to Loki than it is that, but even with Loki, there's still like more humor and it's still like a lot more fantasy than this one is like science fiction, and there's a lot more grounded in Andor than Loki does for sure. But the last scene is Luthen tuning in, like waiting to hear
oh
something.
man, restless. He's restless.
Yeah,
And that
and
made me think of your point with is Vel his daughter? Like what is it? It feels like he's so
oh,
mm,
he's invested, right? And I love how he's like, I'm doubting. She's like, I don't like seeing you nervous, man. Him also having nerves, right? That's why Andor's like, don't lose your nerve. So he's losing his nerves, and he's like, I think I might have messed up. Andor could be traced back to me, and so it's like,
yeah. Another big point. He could be tracked back to him. It's got to be because of the crystal, right?
I don't, maybe. Well, yeah, I guess if he's like an antiques dealer,
Antique
but
dealer, and he seemed to like he's very adamant that crystal was like he could have given any antique, but he's like that means more to me than you could ever know. So
oh,
like
he said
what?
that.
Yeah, when he gave
Oh,
it to him, he said, "Don't lose that. I expect it back. Consider it
wow.
down payment, but I expect it back. That means more to me than you can ever know."
I need to
And so
rewatch
like
the first four episodes.
yeah, so that and
It's
that's like
really good.
okay, and something I know we're getting sort of to the end here at 52
Yeah,
minutes,
yeah,
but like what does that mean to you? Why does it mean so much to you? What
right.
is that? And that's something I totally forgot about.
Yeah,
We'll learn where he got it from, I'm sure. But I want to know. That's a mystery. I really want to know now.
I love it because he's like, it could be the end or could be the beginning. Like here we go.
Maybe he got it from, I don't know. Maybe he got it from a Jedi. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe he was in love
Who
with
knows?
somebody. I don't know. I don't know what this is.
Mel's mom was a Force user, and
He
he fell
was
in
in
love,
love
and she
with
was taken.
Lama Su or fucking, I'm sorry, excuse my language, but he was he was one F bomb's okay. It's PG-13. Um but
We get
yeah.
one per episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um
But yeah, I love where the show's going. I'm really looking forward to what happens. Okay, so do you think we'll get the dinner
we
in
have
episode
to. If
6?
we don't get in episode 6, dude, my eye's going to start twitching. And
We have to,
I'll
right?
probably be okay with not getting in episode 6 cuz it'll probably still be a dang good episode and I'll still
Yeah.
be fully invested. I need this dinner scene. I need them to pull out, and it's episode 6. Pull out all the stops. Show me this. Like we're
Um,
so, and that's isn't that exciting though? We're excited for a dinner scene in Star Wars. Like
yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
no, it's like usually it's like Anakin sort of being cringy and cutting up hair and moving it back to
Yeah.
Padme, or like Bruce like you still need to paint that ceiling. Drink your milk. And
Yeah,
this is. I think it's gonna be great. I think this scene will be
I think
something
so.
talked about for a long time.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm trying to think. Okay, so real quick before we get the heist episode, let's go through who you think living or dying. All right, so let's start with our fearless leader Vel, living or dying.
I think Vel's this show. I think she's living. She's living. She's living.
I think I think she's living. Sintra,
Sintra, dead.
I would also say dead.
Yeah,
Let me. I'll take notes when the episode comes out,
yeah.
and we'll
We'll
recap.
go. Yeah, we'll recap.
Crap. What's his name? I had it pulled up. It is Taramin, Living
Terriman?
or Dying.
That's wait, Terriman is
The guy who's trying to
Yeah,
teach him military stuff.
Gershwin.
Mhm.
You know what? I'm gonna be cynical. I'm gonna say dying also.
Yeah, I believe he's dying.
Yeah, I
I
think he's
don't. We
dying.
haven't gotten enough from his character to
We
make us
haven't.
care that he dies. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
um, Skeen, Living or Dying.
See, this one's tough. This one's tough. I'm gonna say he lives. I think Cassian goes out on a limb to save him, or vice versa, and I think they both make it out. I think it's
Okay,
unexpected. You know, they've sort of built this distrust between them, and then this bond. Yes, it could be a sacrifice play falling on the sword. I think that one of them is going to go out on a limb to save each other. Maybe both. And I think it's making it
I
out.
like that. I like that. I think as from a writing standpoint, yes, you have Skeen reach out or Andor reach out to be like, hey, we trust each other now. Um, my boy Nemec, Living
I
or
think
Dying.
that's hitting the dead button. I think they
You
built him
think
up perfectly to die.
is he gonna be the? Oh, here we go. Prediction. He's the one who hits the scale to release
Mm.
them to get out, and he sacrifices himself
If
because of his
anyone's
ideology.
if anyone's gonna fall on the sword, I think it is him. Yeah, I think that's
Or
a good.
Skeen, I could actually see Skeen doing that
I could
too.
see Skeen doing it too. I think though. I think I could see that. But my official prediction I'll put in: he Skeen's making it.
Nemec.
Nemec's done.
I could
Nemec's
also
done.
see Vel doing it and
Ye-
sacrificing herself
I could
for
see that
Sintra, and we
too.
get more Sintra later.
And also, man, what a conversation that would be between Andor and Lucian next time we see them. Like,
Yeah,
what
Luke.
happened to Luthen? Lucian, gosh, I can't shake that. Luthen, this is lush hair, Lush. I don't know.
Lucia,
Uh,
yeah, true. I was watching this episode. I think it's his real hair, and they cut it
dude,
in previous
yeah,
to. It looks too good to be a wig. That is,
it looks really good. Yeah,
it's his. It has to be his
I
hair.
think it's all CG.
Lieutenant Gorn. We talked about a little bit. Living or dying.
I'm leaning into this, Rogue One feel of it, and I want to just say die. I want to say die. I'm gonna say, he's dead too. No, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Pick him off. Make me
Yeah,
sad.
I think Lieutenant Gorn's dead. I think having such a high Imperial presence and possibly leading rebellion a little bit further, I think he's too good to survive. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
having someone who knows a lot and has that authority, I think he's gone. I think he could also be a scale button hitter to eject him out.
You could.
And then also maybe even be taken and tortured for
Questioned and yeah.
question. Yeah, well, what the heck happened there? I can also see him even like being unaware and
I was gonna
him
say, yeah, he could go under the radar and like, yeah, I'm
yeah,
sure it won't look on his record having this happen, but yeah,
yeah,
you could like, man, they really got us there.
yeah, he's solid. I would love to see more, but like of course anyone here like you said, Rogue One, this could be a Rogue One crew. Andor might be the only one, one
He
away
for all
from
we know, you're right. He may be the only one who gets out of there, which man, what a
which would
sad
be
moment. If you
insane.
go back
That
and
would
watch
be
Rogue One, it's like, man, this guy's he's death sentence. Anyone near him. It's
that
just
would be insane. Anything else you want to say about the episode
Um,
before we wrap it
really,
up?
I would say that I would say from the point where we started to now, um, I want to watch it for a fourth time, and I just want to take a look at it again from this lens. But um, no, I think I'm just excited for Tuesday night, Wednesday
I
morning.
know. I get so
Uh,
excited after we talk about it. I'm like, oh man, I wish we were
feels
right
like
at the
another
episode.
mini finale.
Yeah, I want to watch. I do want to watch probably these two going into the third just to see if I miss anything because it's so much good stuff. I have a question for you outside of the show.
Yeah.
We finished last time with our little dinner tip here,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna throw one at you this time. Uh, light side, who would you want to be, or not even light because that means force, but like the good
Yeah.
people, the heroes
Good
and
folks.
the good folks in Star Wars. Who would you want to be your mentor? And then
Hmm.
the opposite, anyone on the opposite side, who would
Yeah.
you want to be your mentor on that side? If
So
you need some time to think, I think I have a couple of
okay.
picks.
Yeah. See, let me see here what you got.
I think for the light side, if I was I would guess a Jedi in training.
Yep.
I think I would want to go.
I know
Uh,
mine.
give me yours.
So
I'm
yeah, so
between two.
mine, Qui-Gon Jinn, man.
That's
Qui-Gon
and I
Jinn.
think it's Qui-Gon.
It's got to be Qui-Gon. Like everything in Master and Apprentice, when I read that, I just one from the movie alone, but he just seems like such a um one. Yes, he's insightful and he's wise in these things, but he also challenges, what we know. And I think that Qui-Gon is someone who doesn't just accept what is, and he will take, yes, this is the Jedi way, but he's not just going to stay conformed to that. He's going to sort of
Yeah,
allow you to, breathe within those lines and
I
maybe
love
sort
it.
of move in and out. Because being a Jedi, yeah, it's cool. You're a Jedi, but like being a Jedi doesn't seem that cool. Like,
Yeah, yeah, no, 100%. It's a bunch of dorks. It's a
yeah.
bunch of dorks. My second pick, if it was Jedi, Yoda. I love what Yoda has to bring and bring to the table. Outside of Jedi users, I think I would go Captain Rex. I think he's seen enough, been
Oh
experienced enough,
yeah.
knows how to lead. Captain Rex would be my commander here.
That'd be great. I do
Um,
want to touch on Yoda real quick. Yeah, so
yeah,
my
yeah,
favorite scene from all of Episode 8, pretty much, I think, is that bit of knowledge gives to Luke. I love, what are
yeah.
they? We are what they grow beyond. I use that line all the time. I love it.
Nice.
Yoda's great. But on the
Yoda's
dark side, who
awesome.
do we got?
Man, I think about who would take me in and not kill me right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
For a weird reason, I think Maul wouldn't be the person who would take you down. I think he's outside
Yeah.
of the rule of two. I think I think he would actually be if you're like, hey, mom, a ride or die. I think
I
he
was gonna
would
say,
be,
yeah, if you're a rider, yeah.
yeah. Because anyone else like Dooku turned on quite a few of his apprentices. You can't really trust the Emperor. Can't really trust Grievous. There's a couple of on the evil side that are definitely evil, and you
Yeah.
know
No, for sure. For
that
sure.
wouldn't give you any wiggle room.
Oh man. On the dark side of things,
Or
hmm.
just even in general, the evil side,
Yeah, the evil
and,
side.
scum or villainy.
You know what? Hmm. Part of me thinks like maybe I would want to be a part of um, a bounty hunter crew. They kind of watch
Yeah,
out for each other. You kind of do your own thing, but we got each other's back. We're gonna go
yeah,
on these stupid missions. Why are we always fighting the Jedi's, man? I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
don't. That's a short lifespan you're
Cool,
asking
man.
for.
That's a
Yeah,
yeah,
I might want to tag along with I'm gonna tag along with Boba Fett. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
yes, he's sort of turning into like a good guy, bad
yeah,
guy
yeah.
thing going.
He's an anti-hero. Yeah,
But I think that you got this group of ragtag people. I bet there's a lot of arguments, but I bet they have a good time. I feel like they have some good laughs around the
yeah,
fire. We got the Gamorreans. I probably wouldn't understand the thing they're grunting about, but
yeah.
they'd probably smell also. So maybe I am wrong. But I want to be part of that crew. I want to be part of the
Sure.
Boba Fett
Yeah, I
crew.
want to. Yeah, I do too. I do too. I think they're headed to a good place. I hope if we do get a Boba Fett Book of Boba Fett 2, we get like the greatest hits of that. All
Yeah.
of our favorite bounty hunters. That would be my
Heck yeah.
ideal. What I would want to see from that. Well, not maybe not ideal, but that's something I would like to see. See what
Yeah.
Dengar is up to. See what Bosk is up to. Forlom and IG88 and that
Yeah,
all
all
that
these
scum.
characters that were in that group of like super cool looking characters that never got anything.
No, they got everything.
Bring them
In
back.
Clone Wars, they got a little bit, but
A
yeah, let's
little
run it
bit.
back. Let's run it back. Give them some Andor treatment.
Yeah, yeah, give some Andor treatment. But yeah, I mean, shoot, we got so much to look forward to.
Yeah, we do.
We're in a great place. We're in a great place. We
We're,
have
we're so lucky.
what Tales of the Jedi coming up.
Yeah.
We have Bad Batch season 2 is coming.
All right.
Mandalorian, of course. So
Ahsoka,
Ahsoka, and it just keeps
Skeleton
chugging along.
Crew.
Skeleton Crew, and then hopefully eventually a movie in a couple years. I hope. um, but we'll probably leave it there. I want to thank everybody for watching, for tuning in. Couple quick things. I ask you guys if you're watching this video, follow me on TikTok. I don't post on there. I have a TikTok at the Fan Awakens. I'm going to try starting today to start posting on there. So
Do it.
anybody
Do
show some love there. I appreciate it. Again, you can follow me at the Fan Awakens. Where can they find you, Parade?
They can find me on Instagram right now. Keep an eye on my YouTube channel with the
Mm?
same name, ParadeReigner, ParadeReigner. Hopefully to follow in my master's footsteps here and
Uh,
start producing some content. You'll see his beautiful face on that channel once I get some stuff going. But Yeah, make sure you're interacting with us.
You
Comment when
know,
you comment, share if you can, if you enjoy the conversation. It only helps us out get more eyes on this thing. It's
I don't know if I'd say Master and Apprentice here. I'd say, maybe closer to like Maul and Savage Opress. Like, yeah,
yeah,
he
for sure.
brought Savage went and got him. Found Maul, but then they like, yeah, he
They're
taught him,
tandem.
but
They're
they're
tandem.
tandem. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
brothers right there.
They're brothers for sure. Some Night Brothers there. Oh, real quick fit check. If you guys wanted to see, I got the Visions hat.
Oh shoot.
Visions, the
Okay.
stormtroopers from the Ronin, rocking the Ronin
Oh,
Funko
you got the
shirt.
whole Ronin fit.
Got the
Heck
Ronin fit
yeah.
going on right now, just for the channel.
Heck yeah.
Throwing some red in there.
I'm uh
So yeah,
I'm just gonna throw mine in there. You've seen it before, but it's just that Ahsoka shirt for Celebration.
celebrations. Hell yeah.
Um, dude, that hat is sweet.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Picked it up
but
from GameStop if you're looking. Anyone's looking.
okay, okay. GameStop sometimes
Yeah,
got some sneaky finds there.
they do. They
But
do.
again, may the force be with you all. Star Wars is for everybody. Remember that. Thank you guys for watching. Go hit up my guy Parade. All of his details will be in the description below. Hit me up on TikTok. I'll see you guys there. We'll see you next time as we talk about the big, hopefully climactic episode 6. But until then, goodbye. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Thanks, Parade.
The tree remembers.